Yes, so this is Emilia Kullborg for A Good Community interviewing Leoni Almaz. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yeah, no worries, you did.
So welcome to A Good Community, Leoni.
Thank you.
So you are by far our youngest interviewee yet. How old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
18 years old. And where do you live?
I live in Brighton in England. I'm here for university at the University of Sussex, and I just moved here a month ago.
Okay, a month ago. That's not long. So how do you like studying? Did you just finish high school?
Yeah, I just finished high school in June, and it's definitely a change, but yeah, it's good.
How do you like the added responsibility?
Yeah, it's good. I like being independent and being responsible for what I do. I always did, so yeah, happy with that.
Sounds a little bit different from when I was 18. I have
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what do you study there?
So I study media and communications, so like a Bachelor of Arts. And I have electives in ethnographic film and digital environment, so about the internet as well. Okay, sorry, can we just pause? Okay, so you study media and communications, and so what are your dreams in life? Let's start with your profession. So what would you like to do when you're finished with your studies? I'd really like to make documentaries that goes in line with the ethnographic film part of my degree.
Ethnographic film?
Yeah, ethnographic film.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a course in which we analyze like different films from like throughout history, and like Nanook of the North, which started ethnography with film. But yeah, so either documentaries or to go into PR and like the corporate world.
Okay, two very different paths.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, we had a little chat earlier, and as I was saying, I think actually both of those things are very, very alluring to me as well.
Yeah, they're very different, but in the same way, they both like are about representing other people and other things. So I think they can relate in a way.
Definitely. Okay, so what's your background? How come you ended up in the UK?
Yeah, so I'm German Ethiopian, and I kind of because of my parents' work lived in different places growing up, and so I had my education in English, which meant that like the logical choice would be to study in English, seeing as it's technically my mother tongue. And I really liked the courses in England, so yeah, decided to go for that.
That makes sense. So when you finished high school, where was your
So I graduated from the European School of Brussels.
Oh yeah, Brussels.
Yeah, which it just worked because when you work for the EU, you have to go back to Brussels if you're abroad, and so that just fit with my education as well.
That makes sense. So your dad works for the European Commission, correct?
Yeah.
And what does he do for the European Commission?
So right now he works in Zambia. My parents also just moved, and he is working on I think it was like cultural diversity. And
this takes me back to when people asked me when I was younger about what my parents did, and I was like, it's something with IT.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know what it is, but like not quite.
Never mind. So that sounds really interesting, and it sounds like I also think that your mom has a very interesting job as well. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
So my mom has
her own company and works with other companies as a leadership coach. And so she either trains like managers in like larger corporations about how to manage a team better, or she's doing pro bono work mainly in Ethiopia, and she's actually there now doing work with nuns.
Oh, that's very, very fascinating. And I can see that you have two parents that could give you a little push in your life.
Definitely. Yeah, no, definitely. It was great guidance, and like I can always ask them for advice.
Yes, that sounds good. So you're 18 years old now, and we've spoken to a lot of people in the framework of a good community. And a lot of them say they talk about the new generation or the younger generation, and their very strong beliefs, either pro or con Greta Thunberg, the Swedish climate activist, and there's generally a lot of talk about the future generation. And I'm not asking you to be representative for the entire future generation, but as a sample, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that it is a responsibility that you have, or do you feel like it is an opportunity or something that's out there to be grasped?
I mean, seeing as like my generation, I'd say, has only been around for like a maximum of 20 years, and we couldn't really make decisions for like 10 of a decade of that. So it's not our responsibility in the sense that we didn't cause the problem. We're just like part of the problem now. So I'd rather see it as like an opportunity to do something about something that we had nothing to do with and couldn't decide for. So it's not really a responsibility, but we could be like the generation that did something about climate change. Yeah.
So the generation that did something, that sounds like a fantastic tagline. I'm gonna create that. I'm gonna steal that from you. Tell everyone I created it. No, I'm just kidding. So do you have any things in your everyday life? Because I've sort of realized that you were passionate about sustainability. You found us through looking for sustainable water bottles.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your everyday life that you feel like this is a good thing to inspire the people out there about what you do in terms of sustainability?
Yeah, so like since moving to uni and having to do my own shopping and everything, I've tried to become like as zero waste as possible. So I still had like my bamboo toothbrush from before, but like I try to buy zero waste things. And like on campus we have a wholesale every Tuesday for like oats and pasta and lentils and that kind of thing. So I do most of my shopping there.
That's really fascinating. Have you seen a lot of those zero waste wholesale food suppliers?
Not really, but I'd say like Brighton is quite sustainable in the sense that there's a lot of charity shops here, and there's actually a charity sale on campus this morning.
Really?
Yeah. So like we have that, and like I'd say overall it's quite a green city, and like we're also surrounded by nature. The Sussex Downs are like right off campus, so a lot of students walk there as well. I've
actually been there, and it's very pretty. It's not one of the main tourist destinations, but it's very, very pretty.
Yeah, it is.
A little off topic, but anyway. So that's the zero waste is very fascinating, and I think that's definitely something that we can work with even more. What I really find fascinating is what you said about you being, so you're the younger generation, and you can be the generation that did something, hashtag, and because recently moved away from home to campus. You started doing your own grocery shopping. So you, instead of having inherited your parents' view of shopping, you're now creating your own view of what is sustainable shopping, consumerism. Yeah, that's very fascinating. I feel like that could be a whole hour of conversation. So do your friends, do they also feel that this is equally important, the friends that you have that are in the same age?
So I have, most of my friends, I try to get them to come to Scoop with me, which is the wholesale shop on campus. But like, it's just generally as students, we buy in bulk already. So there's like less rubbish anyways, because you buy like family pack things.
And less plastic as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so.
Okay, this is very fascinating. So, and if you were to recommend us to talk to anyone in the world, doesn't have to be somebody that you know, who do you think we should include in a good community?
I think it'd be really interesting to, it's not a specific person, but I think it'd be really interesting to talk to a very old person.
Yes.
Because obviously when they were growing up, the consumer habits were very different, and like they didn't buy milk in plastic bottles and everything.
That's
and like I think they just have a very different view on the world and even on consumerism, whether it's good or bad, because obviously a lot has changed and they can give insight on things that many people just have no idea about.
That was a very good idea, actually. Not actually, just it was a very good idea. We're definitely gonna be on the search for, if you're out there, feel free to nominate a quote unquote very old person to listen to their insights on how consumerism and consumer behavior was. I was going to say 100 years ago, but maybe not 100 years ago. A long time ago. Before we started over consuming plastic.
Yeah.
And being plastic dependent.
And everything.
Yes. So Leoni, I'm gonna actually finish off here on those very inspiring words, and don't forget hashtag the generation that did something, created by you. So thank you so much for being part of a good community.
Thank you.
It's been lovely speaking to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Bye.
Bye.